Hey, it's Will Chandler, Guardian Fury. I'm going to read an email that I got, or part of it, that I got from another EXJW activist. And it's a letter about the JW proselytizing. Um, as we know, during the pandemic, Jehovah's Witnesses have been resorting to writing letters to proselytize, to spread the truth. And anyway, let me just get into it. You'll see how it goes here. It says nearly everyone has known at least one Jehovah's Witness in one's lifetime. However, virtually no one knows what Jehovah's Witnesses actually believe. Jehovah's Witnesses hate this proselytizing letter because it accurately expresses current Watchtower Society teachings they have embraced as the truth, in language they commonly use in private conversations and at their kingdom halls, but would never express so candidly to others. This letter was allegedly written by an awakened PIMO, physically in, mentally out, Jehovah's Witness, and has been mailed to hundreds of church pastors, and businesses throughout Texas and beyond. It has been translated into several languages and circulated throughout various communities and has been read by at least 7 EXJW YouTubers on their respective channels. The phone numbers in the letter are to Watchtower offices in Warwick, Wallkill, and Patterson, so the JW governing body is well aware that this letter has gone viral. I called all 3 numbers and spoke to an elder at each office. I have shared the letter with numerous Jehovah's Witness elders in my community, and they all confirm that it accurately expresses current Watchtower teachings. This letter has helped awaken sincere Jehovah's Witnesses who received a copy in the mail by helping them to see how ridiculous Watchtower teachings sound when expressed in a letter, thereby freeing them to discover their true potential and to pursue their goals and dreams. That was the initial part of the letter. I'm just going to go ahead and go over to that letter itself and read it for you guys. It says, Dear neighbor, since the end of the world as we know it is dangerously near, we are writing you to tell you the things your minister has not told you, but which Jehovah's Witnesses, jw.org, want you to know. Jesus Christ, as Michael the Archangel, returned invisibly in the year 1914, the start of the last days, and proceeded to judge all Christian religions. In 1919, Jesus personally selected the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, aka Jehovah's Witnesses, as God's Spirit-directed organization to preach the good news of God's kingdom before God destroys all human governments and false religion in the approaching battle of Armageddon. Matthew 24:14. Therefore, it is imperative that everyone who wishes to avoid destruction by Jehovah at Armageddon become a Jehovah's Witness as soon as possible. Admittedly, the Watchtower previously claimed that Armageddon would definitely occur in 1914, then again in 1925. Then it was strongly suggested that it would occur in 1975 when Watchtower officials coined the phrase, stay alive till 75. But those were just the predictions of imperfect men. This time, however, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses is really sure, so do not hesitate any longer. Do not make the common mistake of reading your Bible without the aid of Watchtower publications because you might conclude that Jehovah's Witnesses are wrong. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses is Christ's faithful and discreet slave, Matthew 24:45, and only the governing body can accurately interpret the Bible. So forget everything your minister has told you. Because all religions, except for Jehovah's Witnesses, are false religion, and their ministers are actually ministers of Satan, who has blinded their eyes. They may preach that Jesus is the mediator between God and men, 1 Timothy 2:5, but they have not told you that Jesus is only the mediator for the 144,000 Christians who are Spirit-anointed to go to heaven. True, Jesus said that no one comes to the Father except through him, but the only way to Jesus is through the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, the faithful and discreet slave. Only 144,000 Christians were given the hope of going to heaven with Jesus, Revelation 14:1. All other Christians who survive Armageddon will enjoy everlasting life on a cleansed paradise earth, Psalms 37:10 and 11. Only a small number of those 144,000 Spirit-anointed Christians remains on earth today, and all of those are Jehovah's Witnesses. They alone should partake of the bread and the wine when commemorating the annual Lord's evening meal. Jehovah's Witnesses believe it is a sin to accept life-saving blood transfusions, because the Bible plainly tells Christians to abstain from blood. Acts 15:20. Admittedly, many scholars say that the only biblical prohibition regarding blood was against eating the blood of animals killed for food. But those scholars are wrong, because the faithful and discreet slave says so. Thousands of Jehovah's Witness men, women, and children have died for refusing life-saving blood transfusions, because only the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses can determine what is or is not a matter of conscience, because they speak for Jehovah himself. And, according to the Watchtower, one must be prepared to obey the governing body or one's local elders, even if doing so makes no sense from a strategic or human standpoint. If one dies needlessly by doing so, there is always the resurrection hope for those who die for obeying the governing body. People who leave their family's religion and become a Jehovah's Witness are often disowned and shunned by their families. Such persecution is to be expected because Jesus said he came to cause divisions among families. However, when Jehovah's Witnesses ostracize, cut off, and shun family members who leave their religion for conscientious reasons, such as unscriptural Watchtower teachings and practices, it is out of love to help the straying one return to Jehovah. Tearing families apart out of love is encouraged by the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't be distracted by all the lawsuits and negative publicity against Jehovah's Witnesses for failing to report crimes of pedophile elders, ministerial servants, and pioneers, missionaries, within their congregations. Which crimes were never reported to civil authorities but were kept hidden in a secret Watchtower database. Jehovah's Witnesses are in the world, but they are not of the world. As Jehovah's representatives, they have the right to disobey laws which they deem to be in conflict with Jehovah's laws. Like the first century Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses must obey Jehovah as ruler rather than men. So it is okay for Jehovah's Witnesses to withhold the truth for the purpose of misleading enemies of Jehovah, even if they do so in courts of law after having sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Before visiting a kingdom hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, be advised that Jehovah's Witnesses are well-groomed and modestly dressed. Their female-approved associates wear minimal makeup and jewelry, and choose dresses that show no cleavage and with hemlines below the knee. Their male-approved associates refrain from wearing beards and tight pants, which were designed by homosexuals, according to the faithful and discreet slave. Visitors are encouraged to adhere to these guidelines in order to fit in and to avoid receiving judgmental stares from others. For comments or questions, please contact Jehovah's Witnesses, and it gives a number of numbers for the headquarters. And you can Google those if you want to call them up yourself and ask these questions of them and see if whether or not what this letter states is what the Jehovah's Witnesses believe at the current time. So that pretty much sums up the day, or sums up the letter. It says, "Have a nice day, your smiling JW neighbors." So that's the letter. You guys have a good day.